Feeling potential to be emotion is because we look at outside to try to get something to bring in to feel connected. We feel disconnected from the self. These limited actions are disconnected from the higher self of the sun. And the moon is that feeling of trying to integrate these limited experiences into the heart. Because the only way to close this gap between limited action and pure self is feeling. We have to go inward and feel and calm the mind and calm the heart. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
I like that answer. So, how do you experience that?
I've been working with a somatic therapist, and I've been working to soften and open up my heart to welcome a very young child into my life, and to get over old beliefs and to get through things in order to really integrate that real love and allow that love to prosper and be in my life is giving up, surrendering to it, and really surrendering my own bullshit stories and other things that I have hidden behind and abused and used in order to get my way and use my power. And I've learned how to soften and to just allow to feel and to process that feeling and be with it. And it's allowed a lot more love in my life.
And these are energies that are universal, large structures of our being. There's the energy of assertion and self, and then there's the energy of reflection and heart and love. Because this can seem very disconnected. Even when we talk about it, this Paramatma, this big supreme self, it's hard for it. Like, we have this concept of it because we're trying to attain it, but we're so focused on action, which is karma, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, that we forget and we don't understand that the only way to really do this is to go inward and to surrender. And this is the pure love, the pure feeling of sacrifice, of total courage. The reason that we don't allow, and the reason we have this resistance, is because, again, it's an attachment to this limited identity. Because we think, well, I can't just trust everyone because they might kill me or something. Me. It's so deeply programmed into our separate nature. We're so in this that we don't realize it's so deep. So I'm just talking about this to try to show a larger frame. These planetary energies are evolutionary forces in each of us. And to start talking about the sun and the moon first is really important because they're the two qualities of self, and both the supreme self and then the self of our feeling nature. This is called the Jiva Atman, which is the part that goes with us from lifetime to lifetime. Again, the sun is unchanging. It's never incarnated. And it's pure. But if anyone knows, we're at a place called Purusha Yoga. Anyone know what Purusha is?
True self.
The true self.
Right, it's this undifferentiated self. That's what Purusha is. And then does anyone know what happens if you studied Ayurveda? I know some people know, but once Purusha then takes form and gets mixed with Prakriti to form stuff, to make stuff. Without Purusha and Prakriti, there is nothing, which means there's no, beings or trees or anything. So Purusha and Prakriti interacting. Purusha is undifferentiated. It's also referred to in Indian energetics. You have to understand that all of the Indian deities are just to anthropomorphize cosmic phenomena or astrological phenomena. Everything in the Indian texts and scriptures they refer to something astrological. If you study astrology, you know that's what it is. But the thing is, just like us in this modern world, we feel very disconnected from that. It feels like it's big rocks up there and stars, and our life is down here. So they turn these planets and whatnot into deities and things that have faces and stories that we can connect to, that connect to our heart. But all of it refers to this. So this son of Purusha is also related to the god. Anyone know?
The sun, Purusha, related to Shiva.
Shiva. And the moon, Prakriti, is also related to which one?
Shakti.
Yeah, Shakti. Shiva's wife. Sun and moon are Shiva and Shakti. Literally, I mean that's, and I'm going to explain how that, and then they come down and they make forms. Okay? You've heard the stories where where Lord Shiva is meditating, he doesn't want to be bothered, right? He's sitting there. Before Prakriti or Shakti or Parvati comes, there's no creation. There's just Shiva meditating. He's like, so what? There's no world. I don't care. This is like this part of you. I don't have any body. I don't have any world. I don't have any feelings. I don't have any children. I don't have any trees or dogs to pet. So what? I'm established in the self. And that's what always is anyway. So who cares about all that stuff? That's the sun, and that's the sun in you. Those stories of Shiva is your Paramatman. That's who you are without the need for all of this stuff. But Prakriti, Shakti, the moon, says, yeah, but what good is it if it's just Paramatman? Who cares? It's just, let's get some stuff going on here. Let's get some people and some animals so self can experience itself and like it and have fun and enjoy it and reflect Paramatman. Does that make sense? You just made it, you were like...
This doesn't sound like a good idea to me.
I like that. So, Shiva took a long time. It took a lot of coaxing. You know the stories of Shiva and Parvati doing penance and all this stuff for a long, long, long time before Shiva would even open his eyes. And then finally, the penance of Prakriti got Shiva and he's like, wow, this is too compelling. Okay, I'll marry you. I'll do what you want. And then he marries her and then all the forms start to come. You know this story, right? If you don't, that's the story. And it's a story between Shiva and Parvati. You don't realize these, probably you realize, but this is a story of creation, about how everything got here. And it sounds like just this sort of abstract story. People ask me all the time, what is the relationship between Shiva and Shakti? How is it that, because when you hear it, it's like Shakti has the power of Shiva, and like, how does that work? How does that make sense? Why doesn't Shiva just make the stuff? Well, this is what it's showing. It's showing this difference between Paramatman, Purusha, and Prakriti and Jiva Atman. And the differentiation that comes afterward. In Ayurveda, then they study, the study of Prakriti is like, after this, they break it out into an entire science. That's what Ayurveda is. But this is a way to represent what I'm going to show you in a second, which the timeline and life on Earth. It's not just a story that has no bearing in science. It's also a literal representation of the scientific truth of our solar system and everything else. Just make a quick timeline here to show you. Okay, this is like, let's say this is